Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dana and I am so happy that you are here. If you are new here, this is a great place to be for all things skincare, some makeup. Obviously today we're talking about beauty devices. It's just a fun place to be. So if you do enjoy the video, give it a big ol' like and consider subscribing. And we're just gonna jump in because I've got a lot to cover and I wanna talk about what I'm gonna be covering and what I'm not gonna be covering in this video. But first of all, let's get into it. Okay, so as the title suggests, this is all about skincare and beauty devices. Now, I have 9 different ones today, so that means for the sake of time, I'm not going to be doing an in-depth, necessarily like all the nitty-gritty of each one, and I'm also not going to be doing a tutorial on how to use each one. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory, so you just, like with the LED mask, you put it on your face, press the button, and go. Some of them are not so intuitive, but again, for the sake of time, I will not be doing that today. If you are interested in kind of seeing the more in-depth tutorial on how to use some of them, or maybe the finer details on them, please do let me know in the comments below and I will try to get to those. But today, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be going over each one, what they look like, how they work, the specs of it, that kind of thing, what to look for if you're considering purchasing. And I'm also going to be doing a demonstration, so you'll see, not today, I did it yesterday, of how to use each one, what it looks like, that kind of thing. And then at the end, I will be going over my top picks and the ones that I think you can either skip or maybe put on the back burner for now. Okay, so if that sounds good, we are gonna jump right in and we'll get going. So the first one that I have is the CurrentBody LED Mask. This is from the store CurrentBody. CurrentBody is kind of like a retailer, so you can see some of their devices are their own brand name, and then they also sell other brands. So if you're looking for things in this kind of category, I highly recommend CurrentBody. I have worked with them in the past, and they are a reputable source, so you know what you're getting is legit. I wouldn't say that Amazon is off limits for some of these, but I do get a little wary of Amazon just because there are so many knockoffs, there are so many things that you just like, it looks like it, but again, it might not be the real thing. So if you are going to invest in such a big item, I would recommend just going to somewhere like CurrentBody, or there are a few other places out there, and you know you're getting the real thing. Okay, we're going to get into it. So I'm going to be inserting clips of how you use these devices and then talking through them as well. So the first one we have is the CurrentBody LED Mask. This retails for $380, so it is not cheap, but I want to let you know, a lot of these devices, you do actually have to spend more money. And if you get one from, say, like Amazon that's $60, you can get it and that's fine and it can work. But at the same time, a lot of the parameters are not going to be the same. So like say for the LED mask, you need to have a certain level of near infrared lights in the mask for it to work. And so some of those, while they're $60, they might only give you like 200 NIR, sorry, I'm gonna get all these acronyms confused. So when you're looking at them, sometimes sadly you do have to spend a little bit more, but then you're actually going to see results from them. So what is an LED mask? It is considered a low-level light therapy, and it's supposed to help reduce inflammation, promote healing if you have an actual open wound. And then the biggest one for me is that it promotes photo rejuvenation. So that helps you with your sagging skin, if you have rough or thin or crepey skin, that kind of thing. It will also help increase elasticity and can help with uneven skin tone. So those are kind of some big ones for me. The other thing about it is the way that it works is that the LED lights, and I'll show you right now, when you turn the mask on, where's the button? There we go. And these are red lights. So the LED emits basically what are called photons, and those are absorbed into the skin. And when the skin absorbs those, they basically help to re-energize and photoactivate your cells in your skin, which is exactly what you want. I'm not going to go over all of the specs for this because there are a lot of sites and a lot of people that have like very comprehensive tutorials or blogs about it. So I will link in the description below the one that I use, which is from Goals to Get Glowing. And she basically gives you the number or the amount of wavelengths that you really want to see from each of these masks. So if you're getting one that maybe has a lot less, I would consider kind of going away from that because it might be cheaper, but you're not going to be seeing the results. So just for kind of a very baseline number, If for the visible red lights, you're gonna wanna see at least 633, and then the NIR, which is near infrared, you're gonna wanna see at least 830. And you also really want to know that the manufacturer is showing you exactly what the number of wavelengths are, because if they're hiding it, it's probably because it's pretty low and it's probably not gonna do anything. Okay, whew, that's a lot. So like I said, a lot more details on all of these technologies, and I will link when I can kind of additional resources, but that's the very basics of that one. The next one we have is the NuFace. So I have the NuFace Mini, and this is a microcurrent device. And what microcurrent is, it's low-level electronic currents that basically send gentle waves through the skin to your facial muscles. You also can use them in the body, but this one, most of NuFaces are for the face. They do have body ones. They're going to be quite different though. And what this does primarily is it's going to lift, it's going to contour, tone, and then also help reduce fine lines and wrinkles. So a lot of times when you see people using a microcurrent device, they're going to be using it on their chin or right here, kind of where like your, what's it called, cheekbone, where you want to see that like contour. For me, I actually really prefer it on my forehead. This is the area that I have the most kind of, I wouldn't say it's like elastic, but definitely the muscles are not as tight and taut. And so I really like to use it there, but you can use it all over your face. Now, the thing about a microcurrent device like this, you're going to want to use it quite a bit in the beginning. And actually for all of these devices, in the beginning, you're probably going to want to use them. Well, it kind of depends on the strength, but I would say some 2 to 3 times a week and some about 5 days a week. And then you'll get to a point and you'll kind of know where you can taper down, and then you can use it maybe 2 to 3 times a week, or some of them, the more powerful ones, 2 to 3 times a month. Now for this one, when I tell people about it, for the NuFace, I say start off with 5 days a week. You really need to do it consistently. You're basically training your muscles just like you would if you're working out. If you work out 1 day a week, you're probably not going to see results. So I would say 5 days. Make sure to put in some rest days kind of in between, because your muscles do need a chance to kind of breathe and rest. But basically, you're going to want to do it pretty consistently in the beginning. Now, I have the NuFace Mini, and I actually really like this one because I feel like it's very portable, very small. The thing about it though, it doesn't have any attachments. The Trinity and the Trinity Pro, I think, those come with like a detach, or you can detach this and then put on different ones. One of the attachments is a LED light. So for me, like I already know I have my LED mask, it's not really needed. So I kind of think for me, the Mini is a really good option. The only thing that I would prefer is this one only has 335 microamps, which is great, and I've seen results from it. But I think if you want something a little bit stronger, the Trinity Pro is the one, like the higher level, and that has 400 microamps. So, you know, for me, if I was going to repurchase, I might just buy the Trinity Pro just for that higher dose, but I wouldn't necessarily need all the attachments. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. And then they also have one called the Fix, and that has 200 microamps, and that's very small. It's got 2 little prongs, and that's more for your eye areas or around your lip where it's a little bit more sensitive. But those are kind of the specs. Again, at the end of the video, I will get into pros and cons and which ones I like the best, so we'll get there in a little bit. Okay, the next one I have is the MediCube Ussera Deep Shot. It's a name. This is a Korean skincare device, and this retails for $365. Let's not add up the cost of all these, please. Nobody do that, because I will cry. But basically, this is ultrasound and high frequency device. So again, and you probably are going to see some of the same words and phrases, but this is supposed to help stimulate collagen production, which if you're around the skincare world, you know that as you age, your collagen production does decline. And that definitely helps with skin elasticity, with tone, with evenness. Collagen production is one of the biggest things as you age, and if you can kind of cut it off before it starts to really decline, that's a great thing. So the two things in this, like I said, you have ultrasound and then high frequency. With the ultrasound, you have ultrasonic wave energy that goes into the skin and the muscles, and then high frequency actually generates heat into the skin. And both of those combined can really help with that collagen production. Now with this one, it has what are called shots, and I will turn it on for you. You might not be able to get a little nice sound. And then basically when you have it on your skin, like that, you can see it's blue. You press this top button, maybe, there, and then it turns red. It gets warm, and it also produces that high frequency and ultrasound light. So The thing about this is it does produce quite a bit of heat. So if you have more irritated or sensitive skin, or you've maybe overused actives recently and your skin barrier is a little iffy, I would say be careful with this. Maybe don't use all 80 shots. And that's what's like when you press this button and then you move it, that's considered one shot. And you're supposed to do it 80 times all over the face. Maybe go half, do 40 shots. Basically just be a little cautious because it doesn't feel like anything. Like you're not gonna feel like your face moving around. But I did do this the other day after I forget, maybe I'd used a strong retinol the day before. My face was bright red and kind of burning. Now it went away, but it took a little bit of time. So I would caution you, it's quite strong even though it doesn't feel like it. So be careful with your actives, be careful with if you have a damaged skin barrier, but this is a very good device. Okay, I gotta go back here for the next one. Oh, this one is called the MyoLift Mini. This one feels very actual, like spa-like. You would see these kind of devices in places like a med spa, so they are very professional. Probably not a lot of people at home have them, but it is another version of a microcurrent device. So I have so many devices on my table, sorry. So these two are microcurrent devices. We do have another one as well, but I'm just talking about those two right now. So just like the NuFace, it's going to help lift, contour, reduce fine lines and wrinkles. And this one is supposed to be one of your more kind of complicated per se, because what it does is once you turn it on, you have a whole screen and you have level 1, level 2, level 2, and then you have erase and educate. You can basically increase or decrease the intensity, and you can do different programs depending on kind of what your skin needs at the moment. And this is one of those ones where I would say 3 to 4 times a week is probably enough. That's probably a lot for some people. There's not necessarily any pain associated with it because for all of these devices that I've shown so far, except for the LED mask, you are gonna wanna use some type of booster gel, and I just use the one from the MediCube products, but they all come with them and you can buy them anywhere. That helps basically make sure that the current is going to your face, and also like if you're using this on bare skin, it doesn't really move. So you need something a little viscous to help it move. Okay, and like I said, there's no pain associated with the MyoLift Mini. This one though is quite complicated and it is lengthy. All of the programs start at I think either 10 or 20 minutes, and I believe it's 20. So for me, I tend to like forget because I'm like, I don't have 20 minutes. And like you can't really be doing anything. I guess you could watch a TV show or listen to something. But the other thing about it is it's not as intuitive as say like the NuFace. Like for this, there's not really much you can do. You know you're gonna be going up and you know like you have a few places on your face and you can look at the little tutorials in the packet that they send. Whereas with the MyoLift Mini, there's so much you can do and you really need to follow a tutorial. I followed a great tutorial the other day. I will definitely link it below. And what I'm gonna do is basically, I'm gonna keep this out in my sightline and use it a little bit more often than I had been doing, because now that I have that tutorial, I'm like, okay, it's 20 minutes. It's longer than I would like, but I'm gonna just put it on my phone. I've got a little holder here, maybe do something else and just follow along as she does it. And then hopefully I will kind of learn the tutorial, but there's a lot to it. It's not as simple as some of the others. So that's kind of, you know, one thing I wanted to mention here. Okay, the next one we have is the Maysama Sea Urchin. No, not Sea Urchin. I always call it that. It's just the Maysama, oh my gosh, Urchin. I don't know why I want to call it the Sea Urchin, but I do. So this one is a sonic cleansing microcurrent LED heat and vibration device. And as you can see, it has two little parts to it. This is the cleansing part. It's just a rubber silicone part. It comes on and off. And basically this is supposed to help stimulate your deep facial muscles, kind of like some of the others. It's supposed to help firm and tone, and then also optimize your skincare absorption if you're putting on any products like serums or whatnot. And then it also is supposed to promote lymphatic drainage and microcirculation. Whew, that's a mouthful. So like I said, 4 things that it does. We have the cleansing aspect, then we have the LED, then we have the heat and the vibration. So that's a lot that one thing does. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention about this is I haven't found that it has a time limit. So maybe it does and I just haven't done it long enough, but I feel like that's one of the things that I really like about, say, like the NuFace and even the MediCube one. You know how long it goes, it'll cut off after a certain amount and you're done. For this, I'm like, I don't know how long I go. There's a lot going on. It also has your LED light, so when I turn it on, you can see and hear it's vibrating, the LED lights are flashing, there's a lot going on. You get 630 nm invisible red light, which is just a little bit less than what I would want to see from the other one with the CurrentBody. You want to see, or you get 633. So again, just a little bit less, but you also are getting a pretty small surface area for that. So, you know, it's a little bit less. Now, for the microcurrent that you're getting 400 microamps, which is really good, and that's the same as the NuFace Trinity Pro Plus, whatever it's called. Another thing about this one is obviously it's quite portable, quite small. You could travel with this. Maybe, I guess they're pretty much the same size, whereas some of the other like MediCube, I think this one's quite a bit heavier and a little bit bigger for sure. One of the things about this is I do not really like this cleansing function. Like for me, I'm not going to be using this. This just doesn't kind of fit with how I cleanse my face. I always double cleanse. This is just not necessary, but it is a good option if that's something you're looking for. But I feel like they kind of like threw it on just to throw it on. And the other thing about this is I have not found any great tutorials about this. I know a lot of people have talked about it, but I haven't seen anything that really helps me like understand how best to use it. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. But it does offer quite a bit. And it is, oh, I forgot to mention, it's only $148. So it is one of the more affordable ones that I'm talking about today. This is the Sciences Aero. So this is a transepidermal facial infusion system. Oh my gosh, did I get that right? Maybe. So this combines sonic, ionic, and thermal infusion. So when you put it on your skin, I don't know if you can hear that, but it starts vibrating, and it also gets warm. That's the thermal part. And this is supposed to help maximize the absorption of your skincare products. This retails for only $29, $29.99. So this is literally the most affordable one. You can plug it in and recharge it. And this is one of those things you could use pretty much any day, because if you're using a serum or anything like that, you just put the serum on and then you use this to help absorb it, and you go in circular motions. So it's very easy, it's very quick, it's very cheap. There's no set time limit, which is not my favorite. I like to know like how many minutes I should be doing this. Otherwise, I'll probably just do it forever or never. And also it's very light and travel friendly. So that is the Aero. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. I kind of just picked it up on a whim and I've been enjoying it. All right, we're gonna get through this one a little bit quicker. This is a facial steamer. I'm not gonna take it out of the box right now. In the demo, you'll see that I take it out of the box. But basically, you can get a facial steamer pretty much anywhere. You don't need to spend a ton of money on them because they're all the same. And it's supposed to help unclog pores, enhance the product absorption, again, like some of the others, increase blood flow, reduce puffiness, and it's kind of just a relaxation thing. That said, you can also just use a bowl of hot water. So get a big bowl, put a towel over it, make sure that it kind of, the steam stays in, and then take the towel off and you can use that as a steamer. So you don't actually have to buy anything like this. A humidifier also can work. And you're only supposed to use these about 1 to 2 times a week, because otherwise they can actually dry out your skin and cause even more redness and inflammation. So it is one of those things like, first off, I don't know how much time people would have to do it more than once or twice a week, but it's something that you kind of think like, well, what can go wrong? It's just hot water and steam. But it actually can kind of dry out your skin a little bit more than you may want. And also you're only supposed to do it for about 10 to 15 minutes. For me, it's not really my favorite thing. Maybe I use it to relax a little, but I am not a big steam person. I feel like I can't breathe when the steam's going in my face. And I just think like a hot bath works just as well. Or again, buy a humidifier, use it at night, and your skin is gonna be a lot happier, and it's not gonna really be like a whole thing where you have to sit down and do it. So there we go. Now, this one I am not even going to talk about, but I do have it, so I wanted to, I guess, talk about it. This is the Vanity Planet. I don't even know the name of it. You take this off, you put it under your eyes, and then you press the button. This is not sold anymore. This is one of those LED, and sorry, it is the LED like mask for under your eyes. But this is one of those ones that I was talking about before when I was talking about the CurrentBody one. Don't buy this. Don't buy anything from Vanity Planet, basically. But there are so many brands like this where if you go to the website and you look at their specs and like try to get the numbers of the near infrared and all that, you're not gonna find it. They discontinue things all the time. It's kind of like them trying to make a fast buck. And this was probably still like $90, but that's cheap considering some of the others are like $380. But again, I just want to caution you, if it's that cheap, it's probably either not going to last very long. This one doesn't work anymore. I can't find how to charge it either. Well, I can, but I can't find the charger. So that's on me. But honestly, just save up your money for this $90, put it toward buying a more expensive one that is actually going to work. Okay guys, I know this video is long and I will timestamp everything, but the last one we have is the MediCube Derma EMS Shot. This retails for $280 and this is for facial contouring. This is using EMS, which is electrical muscular stimulation. So many words in this, so many acronyms. And this utilizes electrical currents of reverse polarity, wow, okay, to stimulate the inner muscles of your face and help them relax and contract. This bad boy is no joke. This is like an EMS, I would say, is like a microcurrent on crack. So this is a very, very like high level device. And I wouldn't say it's for beginners who are just getting into this kind of thing. So for this one, 10 minutes a day, 1 to 2 times a week is more than enough. I actually don't use it that often. For me, I don't really like it. It feels way too strong. When you see the video that I'm going to insert, you'll see my whole face moves. Like, that's not me moving it. My lip will just go because it's stimulating that much of the muscle. And again, some may love it. I think it's a little extreme. I think you can go overboard, and it actually is the only one on here that actually really hurts a little bit and I don't enjoy using. The one thing I will say, when you're using the gel, I've found that if you use a little bit less, which is kind of counterintuitive, and only for this device, it does actually help and it doesn't hurt as much. If I use too much of the gel, I find that maybe it's penetrating more, so it's working better, but it's almost too much for me to use. So that is that with the EMS device. Okay guys, whew, we did it. We got through 9 of them, and now I will get to my last page of my notes. So I wanted to go over 2 things before we end this video, and of course I will timestamp everything, but I want to first talk about what is important to me when I'm looking at one of these kinds of devices. Now, as somebody who has 9 of them, I've been around a little bit, I've tried out some, and I just want to pass on some tips for you when you're looking at buying one potentially. So, ease of use. For me, that is one of the biggest ones. I think with the MyoLift Mini, I went into it being like, this is going to be like a med spa level device, like very professional, but I found it to be a lot less easy to use, and then hence I did not use it as much. So if you are somebody like that and you know like you don't have a lot of time or it's not really built into your routine, I would just consider which one is going to be something that you actually use, because none of them are going to work if you don't use them, and if it takes too long or whatever the problem is, you're just not going to see results because you're not using it. The other thing is, I don't think you should buy anything that's going to cause you actual pain. And I do have one device on here that I've talked about that I don't like because it is not fun. It kind of hurts. So most of them should not cause any pain. You know, beauty is not pain, so just consider that. And I don't know, that's just a personal thing maybe. When you're buying something, you are actually getting like a proven correct dose. So whether it's microamps, whether it's the near infrared light, whatever it is, make sure either it's listed on the website or you can ask them, and that way you know what you're paying for. Like the Vanity Planet one, I didn't know. This was, I think, my first thing that I ever bought, and I have no idea. It probably has like the lowest level. It's not doing anything. I still paid $90. So make sure that when you are investing in something, you're actually getting the right amount of energy to actually do the work that you're wanting it to do. Now, the other thing for me, and this may not be for everybody, but I think portability is pretty big. So if you do travel a lot, especially then, like you want something that's lightweight, that's something that can fit in your luggage. But also if you just go away on a weekend trip, like I could take this this NuFace very quickly and easily. It's not heavy, it's not breakable. It also charges very easily. So things like that I think are kind of important, but maybe not for everybody. And then the last 2 things are price and tutorials. Obviously price is one of those things. I can't tell you what's in your price range or what you consider worthwhile, but I will say again, sometimes the higher cost is not just there like because they're trying to make money. A lot of these devices, the higher the cost, sometimes the better they are. So keep that in mind. Would you rather buy like 3 devices that suck, or just save up and buy the one that actually works? It happened again. My camera battery died. I was talking so much. So I do want to get my thoughts out and I will just do it off of my phone. But what was I saying? Oh, the tutorials. So I think that the tutorials are incredibly helpful. Make sure you find one that you like, you know that it kind of fits into your schedule, and use that as your guide when you're going to purchase something. So it just makes it worthwhile. Otherwise, you're purchasing something that you don't know how to use, and if there are no tutorials that you like, then you're probably not going to use it. So the last part is I wanted to kind of rank the products. What are my favorites? What are my least favorites? Which ones do I recommend? So let's start with the ones that are my favorites. Absolutely, by a long shot, I would say the NuFace is probably my most favorite. I felt like I have seen the most dramatic results from this. Like I said, I use it on my forehead, and when I used to talk, and like I don't have Botox right now, but if I have no Botox and before this, when I would talk, these lines would be very pronounced and it would just kind of drive me crazy. They're still there, like I obviously can move my forehead, but with this, I feel like the muscles have really been strengthened and I've seen a noticeable difference in that. For me, I'm not really like that big on the contour part because like that is a very temporary thing. I'd rather actually stimulate the muscles underneath the skin than just this 5-minute temporary contouring. But some people really like it, especially if you have like more of the like jowls here. It can be very helpful in that area. The next one, and I have raved about this for a long time, is the CurrentBody LED Mask. I just love this thing. It's so easy, it's so relaxing, and I've seen some of the best results on my décolleté. So this area, especially, like I sleep on my side, and the wrinkles used to be very pronounced and just not very attractive. And I use it there as well as on my neck and then of course on my face. And it's just one of those things where like, it's so easy. You don't have to do much. I mean, it is expensive, but I have seen great results. The next two are, we have the MyoLift Mini and then the Ussera, what's it called? MediCube shot. So I like this one as well because it does kind of go about in a 5-minute time span. So it's not a super long amount of time, and I feel like it really does help my skincare products. I feel like you can see the penetration afterward helping a lot more, like if I'm using a retinol or any actives. And then the collagen production when I use this and something like a microcurrent device in conjuncture, like when I use that, I feel like my skin is just more supple. It has more elasticity. It's just kind of like one of those combined effects with some of the other devices that I've been using. Now, going back to the MyoLift Mini though, this is one of those ones that you really just need, like I need to just put it on my desk, use it, put it on my calendar maybe, like say like I'm gonna do it every Saturday morning. 20 minutes, not a big deal. Do it 2 times a week, and then eventually I'll get to the point where I only need to do it a few times a month. But this one does have some of the best actual like proven parameters and requirements. So you're really getting that level of amps that you need to get in a device like this. It does have quite a bit of like a learning curve. And so I, again, suggest that tutorial that I mentioned or any other, and just follow the tutorial. Then you'll get the hang of it eventually. Hopefully I will. And you'll really start to see the results, but it is worth the money. The 3 that I would say are like middle of the road. The steamer, again, like I don't think it's really a device per se. Love it or hate it, like it's not that big of a deal. The Aero also, like, would I spend $30 on this again? Probably not. I don't think it's that necessary. Like putting a serum on with my hands is gonna do just fine, especially when I have these other devices, but I don't hate it. And then the Maysama, I feel like people like this more than I do. And I don't hate it. I just find it to be like a lot. Like, I don't know if I need all 4 things. Like I'd rather it do one thing and do one thing well, where like it has the LED, but I'm like, is it working? Like, do I need the vibration? Do I need all of the heat? It's just a little bit much for me, and it is affordable, but it's just not my favorite at the moment. And then the last 2, which I won't go into the Vanity Planet because this doesn't exist anymore, but basically saying like, don't buy the cheap LED ones. But the one that I really am very kind of torn about is this EMS one. I find that this is just too much, and I think it's gonna be very painful for a lot of people, and it's not cheap. It feels to me like it's doing too much. I've said that a few times, but like, I think it's going to be okay if I just use the NuFace and the MyoLift. And this one is very intense. It hurts when I use it. I end up not wanting to use it or only use it for like a minute because it's too painful. And then people like Tati go on their channel and say like, this is better than Botox. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true. Nothing is actually better than Botox, but it just feels problematic in a few ways. So I would say skip this one, maybe buy one of the other microcurrent devices that's a little bit more user-friendly and like skin friendly, and just save your money. Okay guys, I did not expect to be ending this off on my camera, and I hate that on my phone camera, and I hate that my actual camera, which is very expensive, has been dying on me. But if you are still watching, I really do appreciate this. And if you have any questions about any of these devices, please leave it in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.